Good morning. Welcome to my show. I'm your host, Danny Graham, and I both invite and encourage you to walk with me on the road to wisdom. Come on, let's walk. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm your host, Danny Graham, and welcome to my show. It is a beautiful Monday morning here in the state of South Carolina, and I don't know what it is, but I think it's feeling a little chilly. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get on to the show. I thank you all for joining me. I hope you all had a fantastic Veterans Day weekend. I know I did. Let's go ahead and start off the week with another show. And as you can see right here, we're going to be talking about stay on the grind, stay on the grind. You hear that? Oh, I'm on the grind, trying to work, trying to keep it going, keep things going. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Now, the slang meaning for stay on the grind is usually refers to boring and tedious work. Sometimes staying on the ground, that job that you're doing is not always boring. It's not always tedious. I know I got a little side hustle that I do in addition to law enforcement, and I say I'm staying on the ground, trying to make sure ends meet and everything, and keep my family going and keep my house going, all that kind of stuff. But I enjoy doing it. So sometimes just because you're staying on the grind don't mean that you always have to. Yeah, the work always has to be tedious or unenjoyable. That's not always true. Now, the scripture I'm talking today about this is coming from the book of Ephesians, the fifth chapter, the 15th to the 16th verse, and it reads as follows. Therefore, be careful how you walk, not as unwise men, but as wise, making the most of your time because the days are evil. Let me say it one more time. From the book of Ephesians, the fifth chapter, the 15th to the 16th verse, it says, therefore, be careful how you walk, not as unwise men, but as wise, making the most of your time because the days are evil. What that means to me is that you got to make sure that you're doing stuff that may be in your mind tedious or may not be tedious. You got to make sure what you're doing is right. Make sure you're doing that you hanging around the right crowd. Make sure you're not hanging around a bunch of knuckleheads. Because there's a saying: if you hang with 9 broke friends, you're bound to be the 10th one. So if you hang with 9 knuckleheads, you're bound to be the 10th one. You hang with 9 drug dealers, you're bound to be the 10th one. You hang with 9 stealers, you're probably gonna be the 10th one. You hang with 9 liars, you're probably gonna be the 10th one. So make sure you are in the right company. Make sure you surround yourself with people that are trying to do things positive. You hang with 9 Christians, you're bound to be the 10th one. You hang with 9 righteous people, you're bound to be the 10th one. You hang with 9 people that want good things and are not doing these knucklehead things, you're bound to be the 10th one. So make sure you surround yourself in good company. One thing about being on the grind is sometimes when you're on the grind for a long period of time, you can get physically tired. I mean, you're just like, oh, I just need a break. Like you're working 6 or 7 days a week. Sometimes my job, I got 2 jobs, and I'll get off one at say at 5 o'clock. Takes me about 30 minutes to get home. I switch over to my car in different clothes and go to another one. Sometimes I haven't been getting home to about 10 or 11 o'clock at night, staying on that constant grind. And sometimes it can be physically taxing. Sometimes it can be mentally taxing. But you got to do what you got to do to keep your family going and to make sure that you're getting your bills paid on time and make sure you're doing things. If you want to go somewhere, you want to do something, you want to have something, then you have to work. No one's going to give it to. No one's just going to sit here and say, "Hey, here you go." Now I know sometimes that happens. It's very far and few in between, but most of the time, you're trying to be an independent person, trying to take care of your family, be responsible. You have to grind. You have to work, and so staying on that grind is something, man. But I'm saying staying on the grind for too long without getting rest or taking a break can also be detrimental to whatever goal you're trying to achieve. So make sure while staying on the grind, you also take an appropriate break. Another word I want to talk about is restoration. God talks about restoration. He restores you. And one of the things that how God restores me is like every Sunday I go to church, I hear the sermon, and that restores my spiritual energy. You gotta have that if you're a Christian, and if you're trying to become a Christian, but especially if you are a Christian, you have to get that refill. It's just like put gas in the car. You put gas in your car, you can drive a certain amount of miles, but you're going to have to restore that gas, or guess what? You'll be on the side of the road. That same thing applies it being on the grind for us, the spiritual grind. You're trying to go out here like I'm trying to do and put stuff out, put content out, try and keep people aware of that there is a God and that the God is coming back and that you get your soul right. Stay on that spiritual grind. Sometimes it can be exhausting, but you have to go to church or you have to go to wherever that you get your gas from, your spiritual gas from, which for me is going to church, listening to the sermon. I make sure I go every Sunday and I get restored. Yesterday was a very good sermon. My preacher, Pastor Sims, here at Bethesda Church of God in Sumter, where I live at, has awesome sermons, and he always teaches, and he also always restores my spiritual energy. Whenever my tank is getting close to empty, I go there and I know that I can make it another week by listening to what he's saying. But make sure on this grind, spiritual and physically grind, that you make sure that whenever you start getting tired, that you get proper restoration. A lot of times in life, you have health issues, unforeseen health issues, or sometimes health issues that you have to live with. I'm living with being a diabetic, and sometimes it can be challenging. But I know I have to do certain things. Certain things I can't eat. I have to eat in moderation. Sometimes I adhere to that. Sometimes I don't. But I know overall I have to do things, put things in place to try and combat that. One of the things that I do to try to help manage diabetes is I walk a lot. I gave up sodas. I haven't drinking soda in close to almost a year now. And I exercise 3 days a week. Me and a friend of mine, we exercise. In fact, when I get done with this, I'm going to the gym, pump out a little bit of resistance training and try and help combat that because I don't want to lose my eyesight. I don't want to lose any toes or feet. I don't want to lose anything like that. So I know certain things I have to do, a certain diet I have to maintain, and a certain level of fitness I have to maintain. So that's what I'm trying to do. A lot of times in the grind, in life grind, you have family issues. Sometimes family members or certain family members just won't seem to do right, or you have to pray even harder for, or you have to help financially and stuff. And then sometimes it can be a burden, it can be a grind. But at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do. Try and keep your family together. Try to keep your family afloat. Try and express to them, look, you have to do this. You have to do this because I'm always going to be here. We're not always going to be here. So we have to make sure part of the grind, physical grind, is to make sure that your family has the skill sets, they have the tools that they need. So when you're not there, I mean, not able to be there physically or whatever the case may be, that they can stand on their own 2 feet and survive and maintain their independence as far as needing help every twist and turn of life. And sometimes financial um, issues can drain your energy. I know that I've always been an independent person. I've always wanted to try do things myself. I don't like to ask for any kind of financial help. That's just something that I just cannot figure out myself. And that's something I try to teach and express to my children, to my family. Look, make sure that you get a job or get a job and make sure you're able to manage your money. It took me a long time to be able to manage my money. And now I'm pretty good at it. And I want to make sure that I pass that on to them because it's gonna make the grind even harder financially or physically if you're not a good manager of money. If you don't know how to manage your finances, if you don't know how to pay off things and do things in a systematically and intelligent way. So there are a lot of different aspects of grind physically, and also a lot of different aspects of grind spiritually. So just make sure that in either um, scenario that you do things, the proper things to keep you on that grind. You know, sometimes you may feel like quitting. Sometimes you may feel like this isn't for me. I gotta stop. The grind is too heavy. The grind is too long. It's too rough. Don't stop. Don't quit. Spiritually, God would not put more on you than you can stand. But you got to make sure that you keep your spiritual tank full. That's meaning you got to be around people that are going to encourage you. They're going to tell you different Bible scriptures. You got to read the Bible. You got to make sure that you pray and ask for God for strength. I watched a movie this past weekend, The War Room. It's an old movie, but it is something for every person should watch, whether they're a believer or not. And it talks about the power of prayer and how this one woman, her marriage is just going all haywire. The husband, he was doing his own thing. He was a pharmaceutical rep, and he was looking at another female he was thinking hard about having an affair with. And this woman, she started praying, and boy, the Lord did wonderful things. And the Lord, and her prayer, and her belief, and her faith kept that family together. It is an outstanding movie. It came out probably about 20, well, maybe 15 years ago. I think 2018, somewhere. No, not that. Maybe 2010, maybe 2010. I think it came out. But it's called War Room. Very, very good room. A very, very good movie. Check it out if you have not checked it out. Before I get out of here, I want to read this quote about staying on the grind. And the quote says, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with only a single step." Say that one more time. A journey of 1,000 miles begins only with a single step. So no matter how far or how long the distance may seem, to get to the other end of it, you got to take that first step. Keep on the grind. Don't stop grinding. Don't ever stop grinding, spiritually or physically. Well, that's all I'm going to say today on that. That's my 2 cents on that. I hope that it resonates with you, and I hope that you definitely will think about it and say, not bad, Danny, not bad. Hey, but if this is the first time you ever seen me on this channel, please hit the notification bell. Please give me that thumbs up. Make sure that you hit that notification bell because I don't want you to miss any material that I upload. Please subscribe. Also, leave me a comment because I read your comments and I always respond back to them. I hope you have a fantastic and blessed day. And until Wednesday, take it easy. Stay safe.